Okay, okay, yes. Yes, I'm checking the WhatsApp group. I'm checking the WhatsApp group. I've not seen any message yet on the WhatsApp group. We have Stanley here. We have Adele K. We have Oluwaseun Chinyere. Okay, yeah, we have other we have Sadiq. So please let's drop a message on the chats on especially the WhatsApp group, right? I want that message on the WhatsApp group so that others would know that we've started. Yes. So that others will know that we've started, right? I'm just seeing one person, two. Okay. I'm seeing the second message on the WhatsApp group. I think I want like three or four, then we can start. Okay, I see all the messages on the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Thank you all. You know, it shows that we also want others to be part of what we are doing here. So yeah, I would like I think we can still do thumbs up. My screen is up. I believe we can see my screen. So yes, I will be the one handling this moderation session for today. And today we'll be covering Microsoft Fabric fundamentals. Before we go into the, me introducing the speaker we have for today, I will quickly talk about myself, right? My name is Chinaza Elobike. I am the moderator for this weekend session, and it's actually awesome because this is the final weekend of this amazing training. I've been listening in from day one. The training has been amazing from day one, right? And yeah, I've talked about myself, right? I'm a data analyst. I've worked with several industries and advertising agency where I was able to like collaborate or work more with other companies. And yeah, sometimes I also try to help others, start out their data analytics journey. Yeah, that's basically it about me. Before I talk about our facilitator for today, we know the ground rules, right? This is the 8 week. So I believe we all know the ground rules, but I'll just quickly mention them again. Punctuality. I believe if you're already here, I believe you are punctual, right? Have an open mind, also active participation. If you have question at any time, please drop it on the chat session, or you can, raise your electronic hand, and we would unmute you, and then you can ask your question. So if at any time you have question, please ask, especially the chat session. We'll be looking at the chat session to take questions. Yeah. I think that's basically it. Let me not start making emphasis on them because I believe we've all gotten all of these things. This is the eighth week, right? So yeah, that takes us real quick to the facilitator we have for today. Okay, yes. So yeah, this is our facilitator for today. Our facilitator is no other person but Joseph Fadero. Joseph Fadero is an automation and intelligence engineer. He has several Microsoft certification, right? He including Microsoft Fabric certification, Microsoft Power BI, Google Cloud Data Engineering, and others. He has delivered scalable analytics solutions for clients in finance, oil and gas, insurance, and education. Joseph has trained over 3,000 participants, including senior executive in analytics, BI, Fabric, Power Platform, Microsoft Office tools, and others. Also, Joseph is recognized as Power Platform super user and also Microsoft Power Up Charm instructor and learner in terms of instructor and learner guide. Also, Joseph is passionate about tech skills and mentoring the next generation of data professional, which is why he is also here to help everyone, and also teach us about Microsoft Fabric. I want to see, thumbs up, clap to show, to welcome our speaker for today. I want to see, I'm just seeing one. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I see all of that. All right. Thank you so much for welcoming our facilitator for today. Hi, Joseph. Please confirm you are here with us. Hi, Joseph. Can you hear me?
Uh, Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. We are so excited to have you. Please, you have the mic and you can go ahead and present your screen as well.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for that's a lovely introduction, Chinaza, right? I think I got that correctly.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah, thanks for that as well. So it's nice to be here once again, and it's nice like this is should I say, the finale, right? Of the analytics. It's the final weekend rather of the
Yes, it's the final
analytics.
weekend. Yes.
Yeah, Corper workshop. So I was here. Okay, so first of all, I want to know how many of us have been really, really active and following this workshop. So I was here before, right? Who can remember the precise topic which I took before? I was here. I think this will be my second session. So who can remember the precise topic? Let me see in the chat, in the chat, in the chat. Getting started with Excel. No, no, no. Excel dashboard. No. Uh, well, you people are around the topic, but like, who can get the precise topic? Okay, so let's see. Data analytics with Excel. Okay, yeah. I think Olivia got that correctly. Data visualization, no, data analysis. Was it analysis? Was it analytics in Excel? Ah, And I think I asked this question during the class then, like, what's the difference between analytics and analysis? So, okay. So I'm going to share my screen briefly. Since I'm meeting us again, I would have done an interactive opener. Like, my favorite question is if you are given $1 million for 1 minute, how would you introduce yourself? But I think we've gotten to know each other quite a bit now. So I'll just proceed with my session. Now, before I go deeper or get started, right? So this is Microsoft Fabric homepage. And today, just setting sort of like expectations for today is going to be like a um should I say a nice intro and deep dive into like Fabric, what Microsoft Fabric is about, some components of Fabric, and I may show the Fabric platform maybe it's maybe do one or two things, because it's slightly novel, like it's slightly new to a lot of you people. Um, Maybe going hands-on. I don't want to confuse you guys going too deep hands-on, but depending on how we progress, we'll see what we can do as well. Now, I before I go into like what Microsoft Fabric is about, first let me gauge the room. Let me gauge the room. How many of us here have used Power BI service before? How many of us here have used Power BI service? Do you know what I mean by Power BI service? And do you know like there's a difference between, or how many parts of Power BI do we have? Let me shift the question a bit. How many part of Power BI do we have? This session is going to be highly interactive. Okay, somebody's saying nope, just the desktop. Okay, somebody has just said Power BI desktop. Okay, when I mean parts of Power BI that we have in our Power BI class per se. I'm sure you must have heard there's the desktop version of Power BI. Okay, maybe it wasn't covered, but just bringing it so I know there's the desktop version of Power BI. There's the is this new? Is it new? Is it new? Is it new? Okay. Okay. Just so that we are aware. So there are three like core elements of Power BI. Like this is going way back then. You had the desktop version of Power BI, the service version of Power BI, and the mobile version of Power BI. So yeah, Power BI mobile, you can get it on Play Store or App Store as you may have it. But the mobile version is not intended to build. You don't build reports on the mobile version. Traditionally, how building reports was done was that you build reports on your desktop, you publish it to the service. In the service, normally we allow you to control how you share your report and control who interacts with your report at the end of the day. So you could ideally, when you publish something from Power BI desktop to Power BI service, you can share your dashboard with a link to a website, to whatever platform you may want it to be. This is not a Power BI class, but I'm just covering that concept. And this concept is largely important to what Microsoft Fabric is about. Now, we've been doing this analytics workshop for how many weeks, right? Chinaza, can you help me with that number? How many weeks have we currently been on for the workshop?
This is the eighth weekend.
Okay,
This is
the
the
eighth
eighth
weekend.
weekend. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure we know by now, like there are different aspects of analytics and there are different job roles in data analytics, not data analysis. Data analytics. There's data engineering, there's data science, there's data analysis, there's there's data analysis, there's analytic engineer. In some cases, you may even see something called BI engineer, and you may see business analyst as well. So, so I want to ask, first of all, are we all aware the job function of all this all this platform that I mentioned? The data engineer, the data scientist, the data analyst, the analytic engineer. How many of us are aware of what they do? If you know of one, you can just type what they do. Because at the end of this whole workshop, it's important for you to sort of know like what aspect do you want to focus more on, what aspect do you want to largely leverage on as we progress. So I want to see if you already have an idea of what this four do. And if you don't, you can just type, it's probably only data analysis, and I'll try to explain the four. Knowing these four will largely help you to know what Microsoft Fabric is all about. So let me see from the audience. So let's type data engineer, data analyst, data scientist. Yeah, just type anyone you know. I want to see responses. So I can see data engineer focuses on data pipelines and ensuring data gets in and out in the right format. Okay, that's that's true. Emmanuel says data engineer build your data warehouse platform, structures it and bring data from different places. Okay. More responses. Let me try to get the graph. Analytics pyramid. Let me see if I could have some time. No, what is? Okay, I think I like that visual very well. That one shows it a bit. But I still want to get responses in the chat before I present it as well. Yeah. Let's see what the chat are saying. So Emmanuel also said business analysts understand, analyze, interpret data of the business. They have the domain head start of the business. Data engineer prepares the data. Data analysts analyze the data to solve business problem. Data scientists build models. Okay. Uh, just range. Let me see if I can view this from here. Okay. So in the typical analytics process, like the typical analytic flow, I would have loved to pop this, but for some reason the link is not just opening. Let me see if I can download. Let me just try to download that. Oh, it's done. Okay. I don't know how many of us can see my screen right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So just so that we're like all on the same page and some things are explained clearly. First of all, you need to understand there's something called the hierarchy of needs. The hierarchy of needs, which is the data science pyramid of needs. Now, for you can see this presented in different ways depending on the source or the material you are using. like depending on whatever you are using, there's normally like a pyramid or a flow chart of how of what businesses or what a lot of company needs when in sense of data science. Now, data science or data science sometimes is referred to like the umbrella term of a whole lot of things we do. Before they start dividing things into different names, like your data analyst, your data engineer, like probably the general consensus knowledge was probably business intelligence or data science. But as things start progressing, proper nomenclature and proper names were put into some of these various job cadres and description. So what does this pyramid of need entail? Now, I'm not going to be reading like all these documents. You can read it. I think I'll drop this link. But what this shows is that data acquisition, data is coming from a source. Data is coming from a source. Your source could be a website, it could be a ERP, that's your enterprise report resource planning system. It could be from your social media. It could be from your IoT, Internet of Things, like your various medical equipments are categorized under this, or your databases. Data is in a source. That source is acquired. Now, the data, once data is in a source, that's this data acquisition, there's data engineering. The data engineers in typical workflows or typical system are involved with building pipelines and doing things called ETL, or sometimes you may see something called ELT. ETL means extract, transform, and loading your data. ELT means extract, load, and transform. There's benefit of doing ELT and there's benefit of doing ETL. But this is not a data engineering class, but that's the job role of data engineers. Now you have data governance. Data governance. Sometimes, depending on the company size, you may have like database administrators, you may have data governance professionals in between here that ensures the integrity of those data. Some cases, the engineers, not an ideal system, but the engineers may also be largely involved in ensuring this data governance. Then you have the reporting and business intelligence. Once data has been acquired from a source, data has been transformed, cleaned, and loaded to a particular system, and that system ensures follows various data governance rules. That data is now visualized and analyzed, generating insight, KPI from whatever it is. Then that data is now passed into data science, which is where they apply deep learning, machine learning, or AI under this cadre. So whatever you're doing in the typical organizations, you will have people that are in charge of supplying this pyramid of need for the organization. And Fabric Fabric also in their career hub, they classify them into these four these four roles that you typically see in Microsoft Fabric. Your analytic engineer, your data analyst, your data engineer, and your data scientist. So why did Fabric come to be? I'm going to be showing how Fabric defined each of these roles later, but let me give a good concept of why Fabric came to be. Now, for us to be aware of data, like we said, we have different in typical organization, they follow that pyramid of need. They need things for their business. In terms of data, they need data must be acquired, data must be loaded effectively and transformed, and all data must be visualized or analyzed, and data must be either predicted. Prediction must be done on the data, trying to get some key insight from the data must be there before you can even get to AI. AI is also part of the data ecosystem. Now, how most organizations used to do things traditionally is because what they used to do is that all these different rules, they require different skill set and different tools to be able to function. What do I mean for this? A data analyst will typically use tools like Power BI, Tableau, Looker, Click, Job, Quick Sites, a whole lot of BI or data analysis to Excel, SQL. A data analyst will typically use all of this, some of these tools which I listed here. Now, your if it's a modern data engineer, we use a whole lot of tools like Terraform, Airflow, Docker, Docker, DBT. The list can be endless. If I start Talent, if I start listing all of them, there'll be non-stop. Like that's the modern data engineer. Then you have those that are data engineers for particular cloud-based software. So you have those that are specialized in Azure. So they could use your data factory in Azure, your data pipeline, your Synapse, those focused on Azure, those focused on GCP could use your data proc, your data prep, or they could use the normal CLI for GCP. And those focused on AWS too, we use their own tool as well. And those focused on Databricks, we use their own tool. The data scientists typically use notebook, but the notebooks are also tool specific. So you have people that use Jupyter notebooks in AWS environment, GCP environment, and all. Now, the issue which Microsoft discovered with all of this thing is that moving data easily from the typical process, your data engineer typically kickstarts most of this process. Your data engineer does the ETL, does the transformation, and passes the data to the analyst, the, to the analyst or the data scientist. Now, what they discovered is because these tools are in silos, it's difficult for all these people to collaborate or work together. I don't are we still following? Can we all get me clearly? So let me get some reactions. Are we still following? Okay. Because all these tools, because they are a huge load of tools, it's difficult for them to collaborate. And data is normally in silos. What I mean by silos is that data could be in one source system. Moving that data to another system becomes a headache for somebody else. If you need to analyze data in with your Tableau, and data is probably outside your Tableau prep tool, or outside the tool you use to bring your data in, it start becoming a headache. There's data silos. So Microsoft released a tool called Microsoft Fabric. What Fabric allows is all these four job description, or all these cadres, or your data engineers, your data analysts, your data scientists, even your AI engineers can now all collaborate and work in the same environment. In the case of, if you want to be if you're a data analyst, you can effectively work with your data engineer and your data scientist all in the same platform. And it's a SaaS platform. By SaaS, I mean software as a service platform, that you don't have to probably have the headache of installing this, installing that. Most of the things you want, Microsoft are in charge of the installation for you. They're on the cloud. So in Fabric, you can go about doing your data engineering. You can go about doing your normal Power BI, your normal data analysis, and your normal data science workflow. So Microsoft enveloped all of this into Fabric. Now, when I started and I asked if you've used Power BI service before, was because what Microsoft did was Microsoft used Power BI service existing environment. So if you've used Power BI service before, when you go to Power BI service, you won't even see Power BI service as Power BI service again. It will be rebranded into Fabric. And they've added the opportunity or the capability for you to do all of these other all of these other things which I said inside one tool, which is Fabric. Which is Fabric. So now this is how Fabric breaks down the role. Before I get to this analytic engineer, let me show. I'll start with data engineer, data data analyst, data engineer, and data scientist. So as a data analyst, what is your role? Your role is to maximize data value through visualization and reporting, building data models, and embedding advanced analytics. In Microsoft Fabric, it exposes data with Power BI reports, semantic models, and SQL endpoints. Transform data with data flows and procedures. This is the typical job cadence for a data analyst in the Fabric ecosystem. What is the average salary? This is according to Microsoft's research in research. I know, though it's may not apply given like your country of residence or geography, but what this entails is that with all things equal and you being in the right environment, the average salary of a data analyst could be up to this 97K per year. And you can see the certification. So when you right click on this certification, it's open PL 300, which is the Power BI data analyst certification. So that's the role for data analyst. Now, for data engineer, on the other hand, the data engineer's job role is to design, secure, and optimize solutions to ingest and transform batch and streaming data at scale. What batch and streaming data is typically when you are loading data, there are two types of data you have. Data that has been stored in a particular place and you don't need it to come in real time. You don't need that data to come in real time. Those data could typically be considered as batch data. So you probably set refresh for those data to load after a week, maybe a day, a hour. But streaming data, as the data is being processed, it is loaded in live and direct. So that's streaming data. In Microsoft Fabric, you can connect to data with shortcuts and mirroring, ingest and transform data with notebooks, pipelines, data flows, and event stream, store and query data in Lakehouse, data warehouse, and event house, monitor and optimize the performance of Fabric analytics solutions. And this is the average salary. This is the average salary. Probably something to motivate you guys. So this is the average salary for data engineer. Data scientists, on the other hand, the role is to use AI, machine learning, and statistical analysis to uncover trends in data by building predictive models. So this is the work of a data scientist. What do a data scientist do in Microsoft Fabric? They access data from Lakehouse, data warehouse, and semantic model, explore, clean, and prepare data with notebooks, create AI or ML models and experiments and store results in Lakehouse, expose and consume models from Power BI reports, SQL endpoints, and notebooks. So this is for data scientists. And if you see, this is the applied skill for data scientists. Then for analytic engineer, now this is a role that kind of cut across your data analyst and data engineer, because in a lot of companies and a lot of places as well, you see people that And even in our current geography or system, you may even see somebody doing all of these four roles, doing the role of a data analyst, data engineer, and data scientist. It's not ideal, it's not proper, but it's maybe the environment we see things in. So you have somebody in charge of your BI and analytics. That same person is also in charge of the data engineering, and that same person is doing predictive model as well. But the closest role to sort of that is like analytic engineer. But what this person does is prepare and enrich data for analysis using semantic models and lakehouse and data warehouse. They ingest or access data with shortcut pipelines or data flow, transform data with data flow procedures and notebooks, store and query data in lakehouses, expose data with reusable models. What me I would tend to say like the major difference between this and this is that for the analytic engineer will do a bit of data engineering and do a bit of data analysis. The data engineer, on the other hand, so what do I mean by this? The analytic engineer may build a bit of the job role doesn't initially entail building pipeline, but may build some simple pipelines. A data analytic engineer and may also build BI reports, business intelligence reports. But a data engineer, on the other hand, in an ideal system, should not really be um should not really be tangled with building reports. The core focus of a data engineer is the ETL or ELT process that is needed. The data analyst core focus should be on the reports generation or the analysis generation. Shouldn't really spend a lot of time with the cleaning the data, transforming the data as well. In the ideal system, your data engineer is who is supposed to have helped with that, solving that headache. And you as the analyst is supposed to be like a plug and play to build your report type of field. So if you notice out of all of this, the data engineer, according to the research, is more profitable, followed by the data scientist, then the analytic engineer, then the data analyst. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you should go for the more profitable one. What it may entail is that it could be a saturation thing. So there's a lot of data analysts out there, but as you move in between each of these roles, the percentage of population is a lot slimmer. And why is that the case? Because the skill set needed for each of these roles, should I say, becomes um varies a bit and becomes should I don't want to use the word harder or more advanced because each of these will equally have their own headache, but should I say may become more technical. So a data engineer you will largely be involved in also writing codes, writing your Python codes, your creating DAGs, writing your SQL procedures, a lot of procedures, um, and some other stuff. Yes, there are low code tools for data engineer as well, but a data engineer to some extent should be more technical in terms of code utilization than probably a data analyst. But data analyst and a data scientist should be highly code based in terms of like writing to write all of these models and all. Yes, they are auto ML, auto AI generation tools, low code tools for each and every one of these roles. But the expectation for these roles in terms of technicality increases or varies as you proceed. Analytic engineer should there's the expectation of you being able to do the data analyst tasks, but also have a good solid grasp of engineering as well. So that's like the roles you see in Microsoft Fabric. Now, so let me see the room, the temperature check from the audience. So right now, after I've explained that, which of this row interests you? Like, which one of these rows do you want to go on further on before we proceed a bit? Because depending on the role, yes, I could largely advise you on like probably how you learn or what you should probably do, depending on what you want to do. The one with the highest pay. So the one with the highest pay may not necessarily auto automatically in grant you a job depending on your location. So is data engineers, are they relevant in Nigeria? Yes, they are highly relevant in Nigeria. I think a lot of top companies currently now are hiring data engineers a lot more, especially because for AI systems that you need, they need quality data. Now, the only other thing is that the system we work in Nigeria is there's also the expectation of you not just coming in as a data engineer. That may be the sad reality of it. So you may go in as a data engineer, but the expectation may be you may, dependent on how structured the team is. For structured companies, they have data engineers separate, data analysts separate, data scientists separate. But some companies, they may be the expectation that you come in as the data engineer, but you still build report for them, rather even if it's in Excel, SQL, or what you'll be giving them queries as well. So that may apply in the country we are in. But yes, it's highly valuable. Yeah, so average salary for DA. So remember, this is not my average. This is according to Microsoft research, LinkedIn research. So they put the disclaimer here, and they kept the location. The location which they are using is largely US. So yeah, that's according to them, 97K per year in US. The disclaimer is there. So it's important you get to know that. Now, role guidance, you can come here. This is where I was that largely helped you help us get here. Now, for you to get started with Fabric, I would gladly recommend you register for this Fabric Analyst in a Day. So, to kind of is a hands-on session which will kind of help you. If you want to get mentorship, you can join one of these rooms. Get advice, you can join this forum. This link will largely be helpful for you to join some of those rooms. Now, what are we? I would love to hear our final thoughts on what we want to do, but just giving a further overview of Fabric and showing us how the platform works a bit. Now, why Fabric? So this is all this information and resources are from Microsoft official page, Microsoft Fabric official page. So experience the next generation in analytics. AI powered tools, give your team the AI powered tools they need for data project. So with Fabric, it's important to know that all the tools you are using, is it your Power BI? So imagine you create a report, you load your data in Fabric, you can automatically have it create your report for you. And you can ask questions and it will give you more reports as you progress. So that's that. Even for your data engineering, it could help you with your pipelines that you want to build. The same goes with your data science. For your machine learning, there are tools called Auto ML in Microsoft Fabric that will allow you to do ML for you. They are called co-pilots, not actual. So this is the disclaimer. They can create some of these tools, but it's always good to have a human in the loop so that in case if it's cooked, by cooking I mean it gives you something that is not is not right, you'll be able to flag that as because AI systems are not perfect now, but it's good to know that they can help you significantly speed what you're doing. AI ready data lake. Now, what this means is, and these are some concepts which I would largely encourage us to read up on. I would encourage us to read up on something called data warehouse concepts. Data warehouse concepts. It covers a whole load of things that you should know, but typically there are these topics which I'll mention. There's data lake, lake house, data warehouse, and data lake, lake house, warehouse. You need to be aware of what data lake is, what a data warehouse is, what um, lake house is, what database are, and what OLTP and OLAP means. OLTP means online transaction processes. OLAP means online analytic process. And knowing the definition of OLTP and OLAP can help you differentiate between databases and data warehouse. So you need to know there's a difference between a database and a data warehouse. Data warehouse is normally for OLAP, analytic processes. Databases are normally for OLTP, operational processes. So when you are doing things for transactional or operational processes. Data lake, what a data lake entails is it can contain all type of data, whether unstructured or structured data. Your data lake can house all type of data. It doesn't really have like a predefined schema or enforce it like a predefined schema. A data warehouse, on the other hand, is mainly structured data. So when you load, I think we did SQL, right? When you load data into a data warehouse, it's structured data. Now, what is a lakehouse? A lakehouse is, should I say, the best, kind of like the best of both worlds, because it allows you to store unstructured data and structured data effectively. Now, you say, remember, I said data lake can store all type of data, but the issue is that big data lake, as it is not typically like best for when you want to deal with like structured analysis of data. Yeah, you can store it, but you need the benefit of having structured data or a platform with structured data is so that you can easily query and analyze the data. Lakehouse will allow you to query this. It will allow you to have those data in a structured format, and also we allow you to also load unstructured data. I'll sort of like try to show what that means as well. AI enabled business impact. So I said you can have copilots in all the other aspects of Microsoft Fabric. My mission critical infrastructure. So these are like some benefits of why Fabric capabilities. This is what Fabric can do: data integration, data engineering, data science, data warehouse, real-time intelligence. This is when you want to load data real time. You can use Microsoft Fabric, business intelligence, Copilot in Fabric. With natural language, you can build reports, pipeline, and notebooks with Fabric, databases, data lake. Now, I'll just quickly show us how the Fabric system is. This is my Fabric environment. We would have done a hands-on demo, but should I say, there's a catch for you to use Microsoft Fabric. And the catch is you should have a business or work or school account to be able to sign up for the trial. Let me control shift and let me open Microsoft Fabric. So you can easily sign up for your end, or let me just show us what it asks for. I've noticed some sites are not just opening on my browser. My internet. So it's maybe the cache. Yeah, I think the site's maybe cached. Like, I need to clear up my cache. Okay, so if you see this Microsoft Fabric sign up page, if you right click on this try for free to see if you'll be able to use it to load that up. It will ask you for some details for you to be able to try. It's I think I have to clear my cache for this. But I could drop the link as well. I know what it's going to ask you for, but it will ask you for to enter an email address to try it. Now, for that email address, you may have to add a work or school account or a work or a business account. So typically, if you have a Office 365 account, you should be good to go. You can sign up for a trial. You can sign up for a trial and a trial for a work or school account for you to be able to use Microsoft Fabric. So if you go to office365.com, you can either pay for one of this account for one of the account, but or you can just sign up for a free trial account. So that's on office365.com. You get an account from Office 365, then we come to Microsoft Fabric and sign up for free. Yeah. And it's to give you 30 days, but they keep on renewing and it's renewing 60 days rather, renewing the trial for people to learn more and build what they want to build with it. Now, first thing you need to be aware of, for those of you coming from Power BI background, you'll be familiar with this interface if you've used Power BI service before. So when you typically publish a report to Power BI, it will ask you should pick a workspace. A workspace is what hosts your reports. What hosts your reports? Your reports, your data set, your data model in Power BI. That's what a workspace is. Now, when you select your workspace, you'll find out reports in that particular workspace. By default, in Power BI, the default one is my workspace. My workspace contains my workspace is the one Power BI created for you. So it contains your like different reports that you've built together. But for you to use Fabric, you need to have a Fabric enabled. First of all, you need to have a Fabric capacity. Then you need to have a Fabric enabled workspace. And I'll show us how to do that. So if you come here, so right currently now you can see I have a Fabric trial on. For those of you who maybe you've signed up for your account and you want to be able to use it, you click on this, your profile. After you open MicrosoftFabric.com, click on try for free and it will sign you up for the trial for Fabric. Now, once you have the Fabric trial on, you need to come and create a workspace. So I can come here, click on new workspace, and I'll call the workspace a name. Call it show self Fabric. Now, what is the workspace for? The workspace is to, like I said earlier, this is what we host all your Fabric items. So if you create your pipelines, your machine learning models, everything will be hosted in your workspace, So if I scroll down, if you can see semantic model format, if I want to work with very large semantic model, what semantic model contains is typically your Power BI data sets, your DAX, everything in your model should be is when you publish it to Power BI service or to Fabric, it is stored in a semantic model. So if I use small model storage, this, if I'm not dealing with like huge load of data, this will fly. By a huge load, I mean like over a gig plus and all, this should fly. But if I know I'm going to be dealing with terabytes of data or more, I should probably turn this on. But for this demo, I'll just leave it as small semantic model and I can click on apply. And once I have that, that will create a Fabric workspace for me. So this is the Fabric workspace. If you see the difference between this and your normal Power BI workspace is you have this dollar, this diamond, which represent Fabric. Now, if I come to new item, what are the things I can create in Microsoft Fabric? Now, if you see, it is grouped into what they try to do is they try to group it into different activities you need to do. Before, I like the previous grouping where they grouped it into cadres, like job functions, like data science, data engineering, data analysis, but they got rid of that and decided to do it based on what you want to do. If you want to bring data in, you can use any of these get data options. Copy job, what this is doing is getting data from with with a pipeline. This is a pipeline. Data flow gen 1, this is an old version of data flow. You can use it to get data. Data flow gen 2 is like your Power Query online. Event stream to get real-time streaming data. Azure Cosmos DB to get data from that. Azure SQL database, Oracle, BigQuery. There are a whole lot of a whole lot of options for you to bring data in. So for all this other platform, you can mirror your data. What mirroring is like bringing in your data live without moving the data. So that's what mirroring is. You can bring it through notebook. This is writing Python to bring your data in. Spark job definition. Then for storage of data, you can store your data in your Cosmos DB, data mart, event house, lake house, where you can use warehouse, semantic model, SQL database. These are like options for storing data. Other options for preparing your data. By preparing your data, they are not just talking about bringing your data in. They are talking about cleaning, transforming, and extracting your data. You have Airflow jobs, Azure Data Factory, copy job, data flow gen 1, data flow gen 2, event stream, notebook pipeline, Spark job definition, and anomaly detector, analyze and train data. So if you want to detect anomalies, you can use something like this for real-time streaming data. Data agents, this is using based on the data you publish. So imagine you publish a report on Power BI service or on Power BI, and you want people to be able to ask questions based on that report, and it generates further insight or analysis and all. You can use the data agents for them. Environment, this is for your compute resources. Don't want to get into that right now because it's a lot technical. Then you have experiments to run experiment, ML model for machine learning models, notebook Spark definition, and you have a whole lot of things here. So right now, I think what we will do is let's just do, I just want to show us a simple Fabric use case scenario. I'm just going to load data and store data in something called a lakehouse. So I'm going to come here and let me use a pipeline so that you can see. Then I'll use data flow gen 2 to show us. I'll just call it loading data, loading sales. You're also looking at time. Don't worry. It spent slightly a bit more time, but just going to show us how quickly how this works. So once this is up, should create the pipeline. Okay. So let me just reload. Sometimes they need to load screen. This network issues. Okay, let's see. Try to change my internet. Okay. um, Okay. It's finally loaded. Okay. Finally coming up. So I'm just trying to probably change network to see if it will help with this loading. Hopefully this should be better. Yeah. Also, they don't initiate the plant show, but let's see. Let's see. Okay. Finally loading. Let me see if I can go to one I already have up. It's not supposed to take this time, but it's just good to. Okay. So in the meantime, why this is obviously loading for a long while. Do we have any questions? So I'll just try to see if I can load one. Okay, let me try to see if I can put this one up. Do we have questions? Do we have questions? So, Naza, you could also take questions in the chat this is while this is
Okay.
tailored.
Okay. So yeah. So if you have question, please you can, drop it on the chat session. If you also want to ask a question, you can raise your hand, then I would mute you, then you can speak. So if you have question, please raise your hand or you drop your question on the chat session. Okay, we have Wahab, right? Wahab, let me unmute you so you can go ahead and ask your question. All right, so you have access to your mic, Wahab. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good
Please,
afternoon. Please
Korean.
go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the interaction section. Please, I have just like two questions. My first question is that this Microsoft Fabric, like, what is the function of the Microsoft Fabric and where it is be used? Can Microsoft Fabric be used for data? So that's my question. I don't know maybe you get the question there.
Yeah, I got your question. So, okay, let me this is just taking a while to do. Okay, so your question was what Microsoft Fabric can be used for and where can it be used? So essentially, what Microsoft Fabric can be used for? It can do your reporting for you. If you want to build your Power BI report or anything, you can build it in Fabric. It can do you can write your SQL in Fabric, your databases in Fabric. You can do your machine learning for you in Fabric. So Fabric is a platform. It's not like a one tool. It's a platform that contains wide range of tools. It's a platform that allows you to do your data engineering, your data science, your data analysis, your AI engineering, your AI engineering all in one space or all in one platform. I don't know if you got that. Hello?
Hi, Wahab, are you good now? You can give a thumbs up if you are good. But yeah, you still have access to your mic, so in case you want to
Okay.
respond to that.
Yes, I get your answer correctly. But like, if I want to sign into this Microsoft account, it is a free. Can I use the
Is it,
side?
Sorry, I didn't get that. But
Like this.
if I think I got what you said, is it free to sign in? So what you will just if you have a business or a school account, like school email address, work or school email address, you can sign up for Fabric for free. Fabric Child. What it will just require you to have, as at the last time I remember, Microsoft keeps on changing requirement, by the way. But as at last time I remember, you can even try to sign up for the page via that page I showed you. Is it will require you to have a Microsoft 365 work or school account for you to sign into Fabric. So if you have either of that, you can sign up for the trial. I hope that answers the question. Okay, I take that as hopefully I take that as a yes. So this is the pipeline. This is the pipeline interface. Now, what's the data pipeline? A data pipeline is something that handles data orchestration. Like it's involved in the planning of data from one particular place, which is the source, to a particular destination. It also involves the scheduling of the process and the various transformation that you have in the process. So there's data pipeline, there's data flow. They are kind of like two separate entities. But what data pipeline essentially do is it controls the flow of the process. So and orchestration too. So in this data pipeline, you have various things called activities and trigger. Trigger is normally like when you want to kickstart a pipeline. I know you can trigger a pipeline via schedule. What this schedule means is that you are bringing data from somewhere. You don't want to always be bringing, especially for batch process, you don't want to always be doing your data, like you don't want to always probably be pressing your refresh button or whatever it is. With the schedule, it will handle loading the data from source to destination in quick time. Now, beyond this loading data from source to destination, if you come to activities, there are various activities you can do as you progress. It's a more data engineered tool than a analyst tool. Analyst tool like this data pipeline, but as an analyst, you can also figure out like how to use it. I'll show data flow gen 2, which works like Power Query. So we've used Power Query before. You may be more accustomed to it. Yeah, I know how to use both or either way, so I don't mind using any of them. But dependent on your skill set or your knowledge, Fabric has tools for you to use to bring your data in. So let me use this copy job preview. Let me just even show us how it works. So this is the copy job preview. If I click on this, oh no, not even this, sorry, the copy data. Let me click on this copy data and use copy assistant. So I can use add to canvas, but let me use copy assistant for you guys to see how it works. Nah, so let me use copy assistant. I don't want to do the copy job. So what this will do is it will show you this interface. I should choose where is my data coming from. And with this, I can specify my data is coming from any of these places. It could be, if I open sources, these are like some various sources I could specify. My data is coming from a folder, it's coming from this, coming from this, coming from that. Let me say databases, platform, Azure, online, order. So I can specify any of these. Let me use file. Let me say folder. Yeah, okay, let me see. Do I have my on-prem catering on? Don't want to do anything that would be too novel for you guys. Yeah, let me try to get a file in my folder. Copy the part. I don't know what's there. Let's see. I need to add the username and password. Let me know if you do this. I don't want to go through this route now. So I have to get that. So go back. Let me use. Okay, let me use one of the current sources that we have sales. So I selected a data. So you can even move data from one data source into another. So from one workspace to another workspace. And I've selected, I want to move the data from this sales workspace into where? Maybe tables, files. Let me choose tables. Then click next. Then specify. Okay. Now, for us to do this effectively, before I proceed in this, let me cancel this. Now, let me explain what I'm trying to achieve for you guys. I want to move data in this workspace, this DQ workspace, this sales data from this workspace to this new workspace I just created, this Joseph Fabric workspace, right? And for this, let me add a lakehouse. A lakehouse is a storage use case, a place you can store your data. And I'm going to call this sales new. I'm just going to do create. If you do this lakehouse schema, it will allow you to create new schemas. But if you don't, it will use the default schema, only the default schema, which is DBU. But let me use create. Let me just use create. Don't want to do anything too complex today. So after I click on create, this is a lakehouse. Now, a lakehouse contains your tables and files. So what I said about your lakehouse is like the benefit, best of both worlds. It allows you to have structured and unstructured data. So you have unstructured data in your files, your structured data in your tables as well. And inside your lakehouse, you can switch to something called SQL Analytic Endpoint. So you can write your SQL queries on your lakehouse directly. So right now, if you see under these files and these tables is empty, let me try to go to the other workspace so we see what is in that other workspace lakehouse. So this sales here. If you see this one has data called bronze. Yeah, it contains some of this data here. Some of this data 2019. These are CSV files. If I want to move this data from here to this particular table, I can just click on these three dots, load to table, new table. Okay, I know the issue. I'm just got it new. Mm, okay. So you're giving me this red book. Must contain Unicode this and decimal number, no space. Okay. Okay. So it's the particular file itself that is corrupted. Let me just try to load a new file to this lakehouse. So I can click on these three dots and I can click on upload and I can upload a file into my lakehouse. Documents. Excel done. What shall I use this? Yeah, I've loaded this data into my lakehouse. Now, okay, that's Excel, not CSV. Yeah, so let's go back to the pipeline that we created. It should still work with this. Just wanted to make it easier. So this loading sales data now that I've created a lakehouse, let me go click on copy data preview. Copy, use copy assistant. Yeah. So I'll choose the data source, which is still that sales. So under my one lake, I'll select that sales category that we have here. This sales. And instead of tables, I'll select files and I'll pick one of the file that I have there. Yeah, under these bronze, I'll just select maybe the 2019 or the 20. Let me select this 2019. Click on next. Click on next. Should have used my first use as that, but that's fine. Just keeping it simple. Then destination, where do I want to load the data from? Load the data to. I can just select this sales new. This is the new lakehouse I just created in my Fabric demo. I can select this one. And what is it going to do? It's going to load data from that, my data source, and load it into this particular destination. And I can say, should it load it to an existing table or you should load it to a new table? Let me do load to a new table since I don't have an existing table. And with this, I can click on next. But before I click on next, I said I should have enabled something. Yeah, first row as headers. Let me see this. Let's see what this will show. Yeah, no. Okay, I think it's better without the first row. Is it though? Yeah, it's better because you may need to do some transformation to it. So I'm just going to load it without making first load. So I said that. Yeah. Okay. So after I've chosen where it's going to go, just click on next, save and run. I just want to show us how the pipeline will work. Let me delete this since I don't. And this, yeah, I can now run the pipeline. Save and run. The moment I save and run it, so you can see the pipeline is currently querying, is currently running. And once all things being equal, once this is done, the data will be loaded from my workspace into my other workspace. Yeah. So can you see it has succeeded? I can now go to this my workspace. So I know this one. To this sales new. Let me see what's in this sales new. I can refresh my table. Let me refresh. Can you see the data is now in this sales new? So the data is now in this 2019 sales new. So that's how you, so creating pipelines is actually easy. Like moving data from one place to the other in Fabric is easy. Using the copy assistant, you can go ahead to do it. But this is my data. I moved the data from this workspace, it was in this place to this other place, and that's using copy activity. Now, the last thing I just want to show, I know I've eaten into our time, but for those of us that like Power Query, like I know a lot of us probably like Power Query. If you want to do this with Power Query Online, which is data flow Gen 2, you can click on new item and select data flow Gen 2. And this will work the same way you normally write, normally use Power Query. So I'll call this load sales. Wait. So can you see this? Now this will give you the same Power Query stuff. So where do you want to get your data from? Is it an Excel workbook? Is it this? Is it that? You can specify the data source that you want. So maybe for this one, let me try Excel workbook and try that. Okay. Let me try upload file. Let me try this. Then next. So I select this. I click on create. And what this will do, it will show me in Power Query like interface on So you can see this is your query settings, your query setting, like your applied steps in Power Query. And you can do your normal transformation process with data flow gen too. And if you can see, the name here is Power Query. So what this showing you in essence is that with Fabric, your typical process is this. It allows you to do your data engineering, your data science, your BI in the same platform. So in this platform, I could use Power Query in Fabric. I could use data pipeline in Fabric as well. The same way, the only difference is that for this, I would select the destination and load the data to that destination, and we'll be good to go. The same way for your notebooks, I can add notebooks to the Fabric and start writing my Python or my PySpark inside Fabric and all. So Fabric has a huge load of capabilities. I just wanted to show us something a bit technical, a bit so that it's not like we only talk throughout today. It wasn't my intention to initially show that, but uh, so that it's not like we only talk throughout today, so that you also get to see and feel how Fabric works. If you want to get more insight on how to use Fabric, I recommend you register for this. You also register, sign up to join the community. So I know in my profile you saw something called super user for Power Platform. I was a super user for 2025 season 1 and 2024 season 2 super user. How they award you this super user designation is by answering questions in the community, in the official Microsoft community, getting smart solutions in the community, solving people's problem essentially, and that could get you a recognition by Microsoft as well. Also, if you have issues in the community, this is kind of like your best bet to find a quick solution for it. Somebody here will be able to learn or leverage on it. And also, if you can see currently now, Microsoft Fabric is running a hackathon for $10,000. You can register to take part in the hackathon and see what you can do as well. As well, using the skill set you've learned here to try and challenge yourself if you'll be able to win the hackathon or not. So yeah, I think that it has been a good session. Just want to hear, I know I spent slightly above time, but last comments or last feedbacks before we call it a day.
Okay. I'm not seeing any hands raised. And I think all the questions on the charts they've been responded to. So I can see all the clap. Okay, that means we are good, right?
Yeah.
Or if you still want to ask a question, please quickly raise your hand so we take maybe one question before um
Okay, somebody asked what the difference between Jupyter and Matplotlib. Okay, so Matplotlib is like a Python library. Jupyter is like it's so you have your Jupyter notebook. That's like what you use to write like some of your Python in it. Matplotlib is like a library for Python to like solve math related questions. But it's always good you could also fact check me on on that as well, and equally looking to learn as well. Yeah. Okay, so is there any other question I must admit? Okay, so I'm just scrolling through before I call. Yes, so somebody even gave a right analogy. So you mean like M365 that has Word, PowerPoint, and Excel? Exactly. Yes, so that's like how Microsoft Fabric works. Okay, so if you have further questions that I wasn't able to answer now, you can always hit me. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, the session allowed Lefty to do more research, obviously. So it was supposed to be an eye-opener session. You have to learn more. Obviously, I can't cover all of Fabric in 1 hour. You wouldn't, even in a full day, you will probably, even Microsoft themselves, they recommend more than a day to learn Fabric. But it's best if you, what I will advise is decide on the career path you want to follow. And depending on the career path you want to follow, it could be data engineering, data analysis as well. Microsoft Fabric could also be the ball game for you. So in Fabric, there are different aspects of Fabric. You can focus on probably the data engineering aspect of it. You can focus on the data science aspect of it. The Power BI aspect of it, it's still there. You can focus on that. The SQL aspect of it is still there. So if that's what you want to be a champion of, you can be a champion of. And it's important to note, why did we add Fabric to the curriculum? A lot of organizations now they are thinking about how to use AI. But for organizations to be AI ready, they need to be data ready. And Fabric is like the platform that allows organizations to be sort of data ready as well. And in Fabric, you can also do a bit of AI or train your models and write some machine learning as well. So it's the eye-opening session. I've gotten into Fabric like when around the period when it was initially released. It has been a really, really interesting roller coaster for me. And yeah, also there are other platforms you could also explore. What exploring, there's Databricks. They are currently doing a edu get certified program. So if you want to check that out, you can check that. There's Oracle, there's AWS, and the rest. But I think with this few words, I think I enjoyed the session a bit, and hopefully hope to see us some other time.
Wow. Thank you so much, Joseph. Thank you so much, Joseph. So yeah, I have his LinkedIn handle on the chat session. Please, we can also connect with him if we've not. So yeah, the session was amazing. We were able to learn lots of new things. So thank you again, Joseph. So on behalf of the Analytics Corpax workshop, 4.0 team, we want to say a very big thank you to you for taking the time to walk us through Microsoft Fabric today. I can see all the thank you on the chat. I can also see the thumbs up that are coming up. Yes, we really appreciate that, sir. So yeah, and also we don't want to also only thank our facilitator, right? I also want to thank everyone that is here as well, for joining in, staying till this time, and not just this time, staying till the 8th week. You all are amazing as well. And also ensure to connect with our speaker, Joseph, and also you can connect with me as well. You can take the conversation. If you want to ask Joseph more questions around Microsoft Fabric, you can reach out to him on LinkedIn, ask all the questions you want to ask. I believe he will respond to you on that. So we'll be wrapping up, but before that, tomorrow is the final session we'll be having the final session tomorrow, and Adewale Yusuf will be handling the session, will be the facilitator. Adewale Yusuf and team will be handling the session tomorrow, and it's going to be very interesting because project presentation will be covered tomorrow. right? So ensure you are present here tomorrow, and also bring this energy you have today, bring it tomorrow. If you have your friends that are currently doing the training that are not here, please encourage them join in to join in tomorrow. And also, when the recording is available, you can always rewatch if there's something that is not clear you want to go through again. And I think that is all from my end. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow, with the same energy. And yeah, this is me dropping my mic. Thank you.